Now we are live again. Just coming from the AMA we had in this group like 1 hour before, and now we can have our fundamental AMA today. Fits quite good, the schedule, I guess. I like the new schedule. Can hear you now. Yes, sorry, I was unmuted. I needed to also set up the YouTube stream. So basically we have the recording directly on YouTube. But once I start up everything, it just takes quite a little bit of time, right, to actually go on then. All right. Who do we have here? Bishu, Sandra, John, Tunnel. Nice to have you guys in here. Also, Tunnel, you're also into Metarafi, right? Tunnel? I think we talked earlier today. So you will like the upcoming poll, I guess. Oh, yes, need to unmute you. Yes, now you can speak, Daniel.
Okay. Yeah. Hi. I've been gone for a while now, but yeah, I got my eye on this Metagraphy, and I was flattered you guys finally decided to hop in there.
Yeah, definitely. So basically, we have made the decision that it is pretty interesting for the fund, right? But then again, of course, community will have the poll and decide in the end. But yeah, it's like basically a very um, promising entry for property on the metaverse, right? Especially as we talked before,
Yeah.
we can even build, for example, Armor Hub, voting booth, or whatever on these different properties we have. So very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, the metaverse is a sort of future anyway. So as I saw on the chat as well, mainly all guys were agree with to go with that down to that road anyway. So yeah, I think it's a wise decision.
Definitely. And I have to say, Mitorafis is a very nice project, I have to say. Like, honestly, once you take a deeper look into it, it is very promising there.
Also Germans.
But this is actually this is my favorite new word. Speckgürtel. You like this? Chris on YouTube. How are you doing? How are you doing, Chris? All right. Then I guess I will just start with the fundamentals, right? Because this is quite an important part for the token, for the project, for the business itself. So basically, with this week, we will start this structured form of AMAs, right? Because in previous AMAs, we yeah, this is nothing bad happening. Don't get me wrong here, but sometimes on this AMAs, it went to yeah, let's say quite a lot of discussions there, and sometimes, especially for new people, it wouldn't be the best fit to hop into an AMA and to get drowned in this instant, very big discussion there. So we basically moved this discussion rounds to Saturdays, in which we will have just the open VCs there, and then as you see, or as you saw from the plan which we made throughout the week, we will have 2 fundamental AMAs, we will have 2 AMAs dedicated for the fund, and we will have 1 AMA which is completely dedicated into marketing as well, right? Um, so yeah, starting this week, back to like you could say back to the roots, right? Because this is how we yeah, did it before with our AMAs, and now we will get back to this very structured form of having the AMAs. So let me just hop right into it, right? Because today, little like kind of a little bit short on time, have another meeting with our dev later, because there are some things which need to be figured out in our dashboard, right? Especially in the fund display and everything. Some things we need to talk about, especially like for example, how we can display the property which we buy of the metaverse in a decent way, right? In a way which is also appealing and fits into the fund display, and then also if we can also feed the, let's say, the worth of the property somehow into the chart, because this would also be important, of course. So let's see how things go later with the dev. All right, so let me just hop straight into it. For the tokenomics, I'm basically now using our website, because like the main information is on the website, right? The basic information which you would need. And then I will just further go into detail for every single bit, which is part of the fundamentals of our token. So starting off with the tokenomics, right? It's like the basic of every project out there, especially for projects with tax involved. We have 8% reflection in PEC BUSD to all holders. This is quite a good number, right? For example, Evergrowcoin has the same amount of BUSD reflections there with 8%. The way this works, right, it is very simple, very basic. Our contract is collecting our token as a tax. Now keep in mind, every single transaction is getting taxed, right? It doesn't matter if it's a buy, a sell, or a transfer. If you want, for example, to transfer your tokens from a so-called hot wallet, as for example MetaMask or Trust Wallet, into a cold wallet, with this, for example, being Ledger, then you can hit us up, you can write us, and we will make this transaction tax-free, right? This is no problem, and you can also hold a token without running into any issues on a Ledger as well. Just interrupting here because Gavin has his hand raised. Give me a second, Gavin. Now you can talk, Gavin. You just need to press the unmute button, then we should be able to hear you. You there, Gavin? All right, I'll just leave you unmuted. So, there, I hear something.
Hello, hello.
Hello there, Gavin. How are you doing? You have a question, Gavin?
Your project is very good. How did you do such a good project? Will you increase the upgrading of the project?
I didn't quite get the question. Wait a second. Let me try to make you a little bit louder. Can you repeat your question? All right, can't quite get...
Partner are very important for every project today. May I know which partner you have now and which partner in the future you will be handing to?
So, as partners, if you're asking for partners at the moment, we have, for example, a upcoming partnership with a channel called Crypto Junkies. This is a new channel with, let's say, a big marketing budget behind it, done in a very professional way, in a kind of broadcast way there. Done by someone who has a lot of experience. He is in TV production since many, many years. And we basically have a spot there every single week. Then for marketing agency, we also have one marketing agency called Legacy Capital, which we can also, let's say, always work with whenever we feel the need for it. So yes, this for the partnerships we have at the moment. All right, if you run into another question, just raise your hand, right, Gavin? All right, let me proceed with the fundamentals. Where did I stop? Reflections, right? The way our contract works, it is very simple, very straightforward. Nothing like spectacular new about the way the contract works. Basically, it is collecting from every single transaction happening our own token, right? So in our case, the bank's token. The contract is collecting our token until a certain threshold. This threshold is at the moment set at 150 billion tokens collected. Once this threshold is filled up, so previously we called this the payday. So once we have the payday filled up to 100%, the next cell appearing will trigger a contract cell in which the contract will sell the token banks, then go and buy BUSD for it and start to distribute the BUSD rewards. For the distribution process, you do not need to do anything to receive your BUSD rewards, right? At lower volume, it might take some time to actually reach you, but then again, you can simply just hold the token, and with every single transaction happening throughout or after the actual contract cell, around, like now it's a little bit more, now it's around 8 to 10 holders roughly will receive their particular BUSD rewards. So in the end, you can just sit back, relax, you do not have to do anything for it, and you will receive your BUSD rewards. Another question, which I often run into, why is the contract cell triggered with a actual sell happening? This has a reason, because if you have a let's say very good bull run there, you do not want to interrupt this, you would call it green wall, with a contract cell. This is the reason why the contract cell is only triggered by a cell appearing, right? This is only for psychological reasons there, to not interrupt a possible bull run. So the other parts of the tax are 4% used for marketing in our community fund, which is very important, right? As for the fund itself, we have a dedicated AMA for the fund, but I will also talk a little bit about the fund today. Then we have 2% used for a manual buyback and burn. So the way this works is the contract is then again selling our token and putting in BNB into our buyback and burn wallet. There we have the option to accumulate it or to either use it and then to burn off the tokens which we gathered there. Very important part here, we do this manually. We did choose to have like smaller buybacks throughout a longer period of time until now. Now we will have a collection again because we previously burned like roughly 4 trillion tokens, which we gathered throughout, shortly after the all-time high. I think we started around a market cap of, let's say, roughly 9 to 10 million with the actual buyback process. And in total, we did buyback like roughly 20 to 30,000 worth in USD. And now we proceeded to burn it again. So now, of course, starts the collection process again. But very important here, over the course of the time, we will shorten the supply by doing this, right? This is a important fact. Trying to influence the price in 2 different directions. One with the buyback, so we have a direct impact on the chart. And then, of course, by burning the token which we bought back, we have this decrease in supply over time. 1% of the tax is used for auto add into liquidity. So our liquidity is made up of a pairing. Our pairing is wrapped BNB with banks. This is also the reason why you will see our market cap, for example, falling automatically or decreasing automatically with BNB falling, as it has done. Like now again, the whole market was a bit down with Bitcoin falling again. So in this process of BNB falling, you will see this BNB pairing dragging us down automatically. This liquidity tax is quite important because you need to reach a kind of healthy liquidity ratio with, or in regards to your market cap. The goal would be like roughly 10% there for liquidity and market cap. So still working on it with the liquidity tax passively on the side. So this for the tokenomics itself. I see a raised hand here. Don't quite know how to pronounce your name. Isiel? Don't be mad at me if it's wrong, but you can unmute yourself and ask your question there. ECL models, you can talk. You just need to press the unmute button here there. All right, just raise your hand if you're ready to talk with me. Or you can also write your question in the chat, right? If something isn't working there for you, you can just simply type your question in the chat and then tag me on it and I will try to answer it. All right, so this for the tokenomics. So what are we trying to achieve with this project, with this token? What is the main goal behind it? So basically, we are trying to create a passive income generator here. One fact which you also need to acknowledge also for other investments which you possibly do, a reward token by itself is not sustainable, right? You are always dependent on the trade volume, and for long periods of times you cannot sustain a reward token by itself. This is a very important fact which you need to also look at if you're doing your due diligence. This is we are very aware, or have been very aware of this fact. This is the reason why we started as the first utility being added, our community fund. So basically just some quick words here, right? Our own community-driven income generator. The community votes on different investments as long-term holds for Bankers Whale. So Bankers Whale is basically our community fund. This fund is not traded actively and is instead focused on the generation of passive income by averaging into the investments over time. Anyone is welcome to propose a possible investment addition for the fund. So this just as a quick overview of what are we trying to do with the fund. So basically, as it says here, we are collecting money, as I said before here, from the marketing tax / community fund tax. So basically right now 1.5% of the overall tax is used for the community fund. And we are collecting this and using this for different investments. The way this works is basically that we are taking a look at a team at different investment cases, right? So for example, just let me throw this out. Give me a second. Where is it? I like to use this as an example because this was basically our first investment. All right. There it is. So it loads now. Should be able, once it's finished loading, to actually see it, right? So we had Moonrock here. Moonrock was the first investment addition we made into the fund. So the way we did this vetting process, just to give a little bit of insight there of how the fund and the whole process works. We have been talking, or I have been talking a lot to, one person is called Ka and the other person is called Ralphie. I've been talking to them just in regards of what is the idea behind the project, right? We have been doing a lot of due diligence there. We consider the team of Moonrock safe. Of course, we cannot give any guarantee out there, but then again, they have been also working with other, let's say, partners there as marketing companies, which we also know, and they are all fully doxed to them as well, so no problem from this side. Then again, we took a look at the long-term potential of Moonrock. So what are they trying to do? So if you can see here, they are basically building this, you could say, fund of funds, right? So Moonrock is its own fund, and with this fund they are launching other funds, as for example Meme Chain Capital, in which they only invest into meme coins, right? Their fund structure is different than our fund structure, because they are basically using the return they make for buyback and burns or other stuff, right? For development, etc. pp. And also for launching other funds as well, then again. So a complete different fund system there, but a very, very promising and interesting project as well. They recently also, so this was clear from the beginning. So when we vetted the project, it was clear they will at one point migrate into Ethereum. Yeah, this was also a very, let's say, nice thing for us, because if you do this correctly, you will also reach out to this different part of investors, right? Not only the BSC chain investors, but also the Ethereum chain investors there, which you can tackle there. So also a very nice long-term hold. Now it's stakeable. So basically this has been the things we are taking a look at, right? Just in a very short form, we are taking a look in detail at this project. Just picking this out because it was actually our first investment addition into the fund. So once we are done, we will basically have a poll, right? As we say here. Where is it? Here, community votes on different investments as long-term holds. So once we're done with the vetting process, you will see a poll popping up now at our dashboard in which you can choose, right? Do we want this investment to be added or not? The goal is to create an additional income source here for us, completely independent of our token, which is very important because, as I said before, BUSD, or let's say reward tokens by itself, without any utilities being added, without any ecosystem being added, they are pointless for the long run, right? So this basically is what we're doing, right? Building this next addition into the income streams. Quite a lot of things have been done already for the fund. You can always check it or attend one of the fund AMAs. One is basically happening tomorrow. This makes us independent of our price, of our volume. As you can see, this is kind of important to have a steady stream of income, right? Then in addition, see here we have it. We are building an ecosystem, right? Ecosystem basically at the start consisting of the private sale and crowd sale platform, but then again, basically building it into a fully fledged launchpad. This launchpad has a USP, right? Because we are experienced with vetting processes, we are experienced in rating of different, let's say, crypto projects out there or even normal stocks out there, because we have the financial background as a team. So what we try to do is to build a safer environment for the investors, right? This is a very, very important thing, especially right now, because crypto is like the Wild West, right? It is not regulated at all, or let's say there are minimal regulations at the moment for crypto, and you will see a lot of, let's say, scams, rug pulls happening, right? This is obviously happening at the moment in crypto. So this is what we are trying to avoid with the Launchpad. So not any project out there can list, for example, with the Launchpad with us, but basically only projects which we fully vetted can actually launch through our Launchpad, which is also a very, very important part there. From the income stream side, right, there's always a fee we will take from the project. So let's say, for example, we take for a listing, let's say, just throwing a number out, a random number, 2 BNB, right? So if you want to launch through our Launchpad, it will cost you 2 BNB of fee. Then we take the BNB in, and let's say, for example, we will redistribute 50% of the fees taken, right? So 1 BNB will be directly redistributed to every single holder out there. This is creating an additional income stream, right? And these are the income streams we are aiming for our holders, for the business itself, because these are income streams which are sustainable in the long run, right? Once you have the ecosystem going, once you have the traction with the ecosystem, and it is at least used a bit, you have a steady stream of income there, which is also, in addition, completely independent of our trade volume, which makes things very, very, very interesting there, especially for holders which are looking to actually hold long term, right? So this is a very, very important part. Now just let me quickly scoop through the chat. Online meetup, joint ARMA, both tokens. All right. So do you mean an AMA together with, let's say, for example, potential investments?
Metarafi, Paul. He's talking about Metarafi.
Metarafi. All right. Okay. Now I got it. But then, of course, again, from this let's say, together AMA, right? What we are also trying to do just to make the votes for everyone in our community easier. We are trying to get in the future people from our possible investments onto an AMA with us, so they can basically describe what are we doing with our project, what are, or which people are involved in the project, right? So they can describe themselves a little bit and make the vote easier for everyone in our community. Like, this is very, very important for us. I think the first AMA we will have together is with the founder of Shibong. Let's see if we can do it at Wednesday. We should be able to do it at Wednesday in the marketing AMA. And the next one will be with the possible investment we have, which is a very, very early investment. This is basically in the seed round at the moment. Then the private sale will follow, and then they will follow up with a fair launch there. So basically also trying to get them into a AMA with us, right? Which could be quite interesting, right? This is always an interesting chance for them. It's great exposure for us because, of course, they will also let their community know. So basically, this is all, of course, intended. And it makes also life for you guys easier because you have a way to ask any questions to the people which actually attend the AMA, ask any questions about the project, and maybe it will be even interesting for you guys, right? This is something we are aiming for, just trying to create this more safer environment, and while doing so, also providing different income streams. All right. So let's see. We covered this. Something I didn't talk about, the team itself, right? Only talking about the project. The closing thing, which I always want to talk about, is the team itself. So who are we? What are we doing? What have we been doing previously, or what are some people in our team still doing at their day jobs? Just giving you a little bit of insight there. So basically, for myself, my name is Paul. Full name, Paul Kaiser. There is no way to pronounce my surname in English. It's just called Kaiser. Fully doxed, yes. I've been attending live events in Switzerland and all of that stuff, so nothing to worry about from this side. So basically, born in Germany, raised in Germany, living in Germany. This applies to the whole team. And I have, or yeah, not anymore. Let's say until the 30th of, what is it? June. Right, 30th of June. Then I will fully quit my day job. And then I can, of course, like this 110% concentrate into BD Capital. I was working as a banker previously, right? I've been, or basically, let's say, as a financial advisor. So I have been basically advising my clients for especially investments in the stock market, and also in some insurance cases, especially for healthcare and that stuff. So basically, this is what I have been doing. AJ was basically doing the same thing. We have, or basically, we got friends back in the training of being a banker, right? This is when we first met, and from then on, like, let's say we are basically best friends. So quite interesting there from the team side, right? Because we have two people which are basically working or have been working, in my case, in traditional finance for a long time, and just bringing a little bit of knowledge there, general, or let's say in general, about the market and about different stuff. Wait, John, Kaiser is emperor. Yes, basically, if you would translate it, right? You would say emperor. All right, just let me interrupt here. Maybe more a question for a marketing AMA, not bad tunnel, but how are we gonna make ourselves attractive for new projects to join our launchpad? Looks like tons of them out there and many in progress, many aiming to force rug-free launches because of the problem we are facing here in BSC. All right, this is a good question, right? So we have a lot of connections already out there in the space. So as you all know, we have been working at the start with a marketing agency. We're still working with the marketing agency, still in close contact with them because they are also leading this very, very big seed round and private sale, and basically then the whole tokenization process for this big company, which we also will set up as a poll this week. So we have kind of not easy, but we have our hands easier on projects which could be potentially promising there, right, through this marketing agency, because they are basically working with many different projects out there. Another thing is, of course, our personal connections we made in the crypto space so far. All right, give me one quick second. I got moved into a group and getting spammed. All right, no, I did leave the group again. Yes, there are many launchpads already running, many launchpads already in development out there, right? This is a nice competition out there in the market, right? Their launchpad will not only run on BSC, so basically we will have the option to basically organize a launch on every single chain out there. But then again, something which is very, very important also, we do not intend to say we are rug free, right? Because you cannot make it rug free, basically, right? It's not possible. There's always this percentage of possible failure in the vetting process or different stuff, which could lead into a rug, right? Or even just into a straight fail of the investment, right? This is nothing we could control. Then again, what we bring a lot of experience in vetting processes and different stuff. We know a lot of teams. We know a lot of people, which then again know a lot of teams out there. So we have very good connections here in the crypto space, which makes it a lot easier, of course, because there are some dev teams which have already been running like multiple projects before. But then again, there are also teams like us, for example, which are running a first-time project. But then again, you need to fit the vetting process in the right way, right? A KYC is not enough to make it safe, I can tell you, because a KYC in itself is just this very, very simple thing to fake. I could just pay anyone out there, which will basically be the face for the KYC. He will provide the passport data and everything, and he will be the poor thing which is being released to the public if I make the rug, right? But then again, I can tell you there are people out there which are willing to do this kind of stuff. So no, a KYC is basically not enough, right? This for a project from our side to actually, let's say, count as safe, right? This includes a kind of KYC process with us, but then of course directly with video calls, multiple video calls out there, and then of course all these background checks for the team itself. But because then again, even full docs teams have appeared on the blockchain, and they did basically fake every single thing out there, from the social pages, right, to any personal information they released. They did basically fake it. So this is something which you need to check. Then again, this is by no means anyone can say we are a rug-free launch pad or something like this, right? This is not possible at all. This brings a lot of connection which you need to have, and a lot of background checks you need to do. This is something which we want to do, but we want to do it in the right way. This is why we are starting with a private sale and then with a crowd sale platform first, because this is a smaller scale of a launchpad, right, in a easier way to manage. And then of course we try to merge all of these things together, right? If our community is interested in the projects out there, then of course it will be very interesting for the projects themselves to actually list through us, and for example not through Pink Sale, for example, because people out there know, all right, this might be safer than a Pink Sale launch, right? So these are basically things. Of course, it's a hard competition out there. There's nothing which I can like tell you at the moment, like on this, with this exact strategy, we will make this work, right? We are still in the process of figuring everything out, still in the process of laying the plans out. But yeah, very good question there. I hope I could at least answer it in parts, right? Because this is not a easy question to just answer straight away, right? This is a very seems short, but then again, a very in-depth question there. But John, have to get back to my non-crypto family, Jensen. Yes, go back to your non-crypto family. They also need attention, John. They also need attention. All right. So getting back to where I ended, which was the team, basically talking about AJ and me. So basically, AJ and me, both trained bankers, worked for quite some time now as financial advisors. So we bring a lot of experience there. We have the insurance agent as well there. You don't see him in the chat or anything else because he's actually not good in speaking English, I can tell you. And he's rather staying more in the background of everything, right? So just basically he is having a hard time with English. And then we have Simplify, who is our, let's say, normal software developer. He's handling everything from the website, throughout everything which is considered a IT thing, right? He brings also a lot of experience there. A very good worker there as well. Then we have, like, away from the founders team, right, to the team additions we recently made. We have Stavros or also Moneybin. Yeah, it's kind of complicated sometimes if he starts to jump around on 2 accounts. But you all know him already, right? If you have been joining the community, you will know him. He is basically our head of PR. He is handling a lot of the marketing and everything because this was getting out of hand, right, with all the proposals, and I can tell you handling yes, that's you. And basically handling influencers is a pain sometimes, I can tell you, and this takes a lot of time, and you need someone with experience, and Stavros brings this experience. He showed this already, right? He's always doing a lot of research there. Yes, it's a full-time job, yes, definitely. He brings a lot of experience, knows a lot about, let's say, this, how do you call it, segments of the market, right? He's analyzing the market in beforehand, so he tries to always find the fitting solution for marketing. But I think he will explain more in he's having the marketing AMA, right? Because there's something more marketing related. Just giving a little bit of insight there. Then we have Vimal. This is our blockchain developer. He's not alone. He brings a full team with him. You won't see him also in the chat, like, a lot. Maybe sometimes also sitting in the AMA as well. But then again, he's basically handling all of the blockchain development. Yeah, he's a very experienced person there again for blockchain development, which is not easy to do. Yeah, I can tell you. This is something you need to kind of specialize on if you are into programming and all of that stuff. So kind of needed, especially for a crypto project, right? It is very, very needed in addition to actual handle all of that different stuff, especially if it comes to development of, let's say, for example, private sale and crowd sale platform. This is nothing easy you could just do at the side, right? This is basically a lot of work you have to do as a development team. And yeah, you need this experienced people in the team, right? Exactly. As Stavros said, together we are this full stack team. Of course, we will grow even more in the future. But then again, started as this 4 persons at the start. I made the 2 team editions here, which are also committed into BankerStream and BD Capital, and basically bringing this full stack team for any crypto project, or basically the team which is needed for a crypto project, right? This is also something very, very important there. All right, so a little bit of insight for the team. Do we have any questions for the fundamental part? Something which you say, I didn't get this part, right? Or that was explained way too complicated, or even other questions which are popping into your head at the moment. I always say right now is the time, right? Because I'm here. I will only be back by tomorrow. Nah, still in the chat. But then again, now I'm here. Now you have the possibility to ask any questions, right? Just waiting, just scooping through the chat, also YouTube. All right, but seems clear to me at the moment. Something I have to say. So the commitment for the Reddit post we have done earlier was great, right? Then the commitment was getting a little bit slower there. So we decided, all right, let's take a quick break of a few days, and then we start up the Reddit process again. I will set up different Reddit posts, also in new subreddits there, which we can tackle like after the AMA, right? Just give me a little bit of time to set everything up. But then again, I can tell you Reddit works, right? It works tremendously. This was one of the main factors which did drive us to 12.5 million. Marketing in itself, of course, it's always useful, but it is just creating exposure. Now, not trying to make or to belittle marketing or something like this. As you see, we have like right now running daily AMAs with other communities and having the billboards up and all of that different stuff. But then again, we need to do more in addition, right? And this is the whole shilling process you shouldn't underestimate it, right? So I will set up the Reddit posts again and just find the time to hop on the Reddit posts, right? This helps us tremendously, I can tell you. Right, this is creating a lot of exposure out there. Of course, right now, just also keep this in mind. The market is very, very, very slow in the past few days and weeks as well, right? The market is not in favor of altcoins or blue chips at the moment. Just keep this in mind. There is no reason to panic at all. The overall volume is very low. Yeah, this is a lot of stuff happening at the moment out there in the world, which is not in favor of finance, right? Finance in general. You can see this also in other projects. Yeah, just something I want to quickly throw out there. There are projects out there which are listed on multiple exchanges already, but the chart is also just on a kind of a downtrend at the moment, right? There is not a lot which you can do to influence it. So what we are trying to do is we are adding this multiple ways of exposure we can create, right? Through AMAs, through our shilling, through billboards, through different stuff we make, right? Through some posts we have from influencers and all of that different stuff, the YouTube videos we had up. They are still up, of course, because it's YouTube. So these are the different things we do, so we can create this constant flow of exposure. But then again, there is this part of free exposure we can create, right? We can create it by just sharing and commenting and liking on the Twitter posts, by doing the Reddits, right? By basically doing all of this free stuff. And I can tell you the Reddits, they work. I can tell you. I saw it firsthand. Or a lot of us saw it firsthand in the last runner-up we had. The market was also not looking into our favor, but then sometimes there is just one little thing which will ignite everything, right? And this is something we have to work for. And then if it's free, of course, right? Since I'm setting up the posts, I can tell you I get the insights of people who have seen the posts, etc. pp, who have actually watched, because we are basically using the videos we have. So we have something visual for the eyes and not just a big block of text there on the Reddit post. It works. There are, like, in total thousands of people who are seeing the posts. Of course, not every single one will just come by and ape in. Yeah, this is not the way this works. But this creates just the overall exposure for us, right? The main point in marketing is that we are on people's radar. They start to check us out. Eventually, when they see us enough, like the 5th time, the 6th time, the 7th time, right? If they see the 8th time a Reddit post, and they start to wonder, all right, now I saw this so many times, now I need to check them out, right? This is the way marketing works, and this is something we need to tackle out as a community. Very important here. So if you have the time, Stavros says always, I'm very conservative in asking this, but we need you for the Reddits, right? They work. I can tell you they work, and this is free exposure we can get. And it especially works if we are having a lot of interaction on the posts. Of course, right? Just having a lot of comments there, a lot of upvotes, yeah. Don't, because sometimes it is the internet, right? Sometimes there will appear foot on some posts, yeah. Don't take it seriously. Don't try to defend or anything else. If you are about to answer there, just ask a question, right? Did you check out this part, right? Will this maybe change your mind? Because a lot of times we saw this before. Just a quick story there. We did post a lot on Satoshi Street Bets. This is a rather big subreddit out there in the Reddit space. And our posts, they went like completely crazy. They reached the trending section by themselves. Normally you have to pay for that stuff, right? Or you have a very, very engaged community there. And they also went into trending because that this trolls, they have just been instantly or just commenting the whole time in the comment section. So we had like 200, 300, 400 comments there on this single Reddit post in the single subreddit, which is huge, right, on Reddit. This is pretty huge for something which just gets dropped into a subreddit. And I can tell you it created a lot of exposure. It created that much exposure that we are right now having a hard time to even post anything which is in some form related to Bangor Stream or BD Capital on this subreddit, right, on this SSP subreddit, which is not bad at all. There are plenty of subreddits out there. But then again, this shows again the power, because we had so many eyes on us, and this helped us tremendously with the last run we had. And this is something which we need to keep up. Of course, we need to take little breaks, yeah, at some times, but then we need to light them up. And if you see something on from this Reddit posts I make, just hop on them, upvote them, right? Also join our new subreddit, BD Capital on Reddit. Yeah, this is important. A lot of crypto people are on Reddit, I can tell you. Like a bunch of crypto people are on Reddit. And this is something which we need to tackle, right? So this just, how do you call it? The famous last words, right? For today's AMA. Yeah, something here Stavros drops in. Takes 7 to 10 times after people see an ad for an average person to move into buy. Yes, definitely. This is just the way marketing works, right? This is also something which people sometimes don't see. Marketing is no button which we can magically push and we will create buys. There is no button to do so. If there was something which we could like actively do from the marketing side, then you wouldn't see these big projects out there also dipping or in a constant downtrend if the market is bad, right? This is not to blame the market, right? This is not to blame the market. But then again, marketing is just exposure. A lot of people see you, some will eventually check you out, and like a small percentage of them will eventually buy, right? Eventually. once they have done their research, because there are not a lot of people out there which just instantly join a project and just go into buying mode, right? There are not a lot of people out there anymore, especially since crypto is not that safe anymore. So this is something you need to notice. And also, yeah, it doesn't matter right now. Of course, there are always projects out there which have this nice bull run, right? We had it also in this market situation right now, because since we launched, we never saw a nice market in the favor of altcoins, but we still managed to have the 150x. Of course, after such a big run up, you will always see a consolidation phase, right? People will take their profits. This is nothing bad. This is something healthy for the project. Yeah, just need to stress this out. But then again, you need to keep this constantly going, right? Just need to keep the train moving, and eventually you will hit this bull run mode again once the sell pressure is gone. This is the important part of all of it. All right. Now I talked a lot the whole time. But I hope you got the main idea behind it, right? Also with the exchange listings and stuff like this, right? There are plenty of projects out there. Of course, I'm not saying this is not useful, right? But there are plenty of projects out there which have listed on, like, they've launched after us. They had a good runner-up. Then they listed on various major exchanges, but it's not moving the chart at all. And this is simply for the fact because the volume, the overall volume of crypto, especially altcoin, is just very, very low at the moment, right? Don't miss this fact, right? This is important. Nothing to worry about, as you knew. Nothing changed into something bad in Banker Stream. This is also something. We just added more nice things while running the project. We now have the blue chip investments, eventually starting our metaverse investments and adding more projects onto the investment fund. We have the development going on and everything, right? There are a lot of things, key things, which make things better, a lot better, right? We are even fully doxed now, so nothing changed to a bad part. Gavin, I see you have your hand raised. We'll try again. You are unmuted now, so you can basically just press the button, Gavin, and you can talk to me. All right, just waiting. Okay, Gavin. I'll just leave you unmuted. If you happen to notice it, just unmute yourself. Otherwise, just drop your question in the chat, right? All right. So this for today's fundamental AMA, right? Just giving this quick overview. Tomorrow we will talk in depth about the fund. And also I'm hoping that we can schedule it for Wednesday with the founder of Shibong. So for the people who are not aware, we had a AMA with the community of Shibong. I think most likely he is available on Wednesday. So let's see if this fits. Stavros, or no, Kevin.
Which is very important in this sense, what make investor, customer and user feel safe when working with your project.
All right, I think I got your question there. So what makes us safe for an investor? So basically dividing this also into two different answers here. So once for the blockchain part, right? We have a, let's say, rather simple contract running at the moment. So from the blockchain part, we have the audit done through Interfi, which is also a well-known audit company out there in the crypto space. We passed the audit without any major issues there, so nothing to worry about here. We have no staking pools or something else included in our contract, which basically means we do not have any vulnerability out there for hackers, etc., to actually attack our project. So from the blockchain side, it's safe. Just one advice I will always give out. If you are interacting with our dashboard, after interacting with it, always cut the connection completely. Yeah, I would hand out this thing to basically any not launchpad, any dashboard out there, even PancakeSwap or similar stuff. If you are done using it, just completely disconnect your wallet from it, right? This just as a suggestion there. From the team side, I can tell you we are KYC'd, so basically a third party has all of our informations for like basically the passport information and everything, and we are fully doxed already. We had live events going on in Switzerland and everything, so I can tell you from the team side, there is nothing more we could do to make this project safe, right? Nothing more to do from our side. Hope I could answer your question there, Gavin. Okay, seems like it.
Is this your project only for yield investor? How about other with small fund? It is open to everyone.
All right, so I can tell you this project is not only for, you would say, this elite investors. We did not, let's say, we do not have a minimum amount of tokens which you need to own to actually participate in, and we will not have something like this in the future, right? Everyone will receive rewards for himself, for the tokens he is actually holding. This is something which we stumbled upon while working on traditional finance, because if you're working there, you will see that some of the best investment cases, they are not open for the public, right? They are only for elite investors out there, or let's say there's very big investors out there, which bring a lot of volume to the financial institutes. So no, this is something we want to tackle, right? We want to give out a investment option for basically anyone out there. This is very important to us. Hope I could answer it, Gavin. Oh, I see. Benetzi is bringing out another Twitter post. So please just hop on it, like, quote the tweet, write something nice on the quote, post it, right? This helps tremendously. Can tell you, helps a lot. So just trying to keep up with the chat here. Oi. When you stick to banks, you will become a very well-off investor. Yes, in the future, if you hold long enough, you will. All right. Did I miss anything?
Yes.
Hope I could answer it there, Gavin. Hope I could bring some answers to your questions there. If there's anything missing, just let me know. What like? Yes, definitely. Do this. Do what Stavros said there, right? Quite important. All right.
Hey, Paul. Hey, Paul, can I jump in there quick?
Yes. Just
you,
jump in.
Good, man. I just wanted to say that people that, I mean, a lot of people that are here that do know, but for those that don't know, they're new, is that when you're doing your retweets on the posts that go out, Twitter's algorithm looks at quote retweet because you have an option to go retweet or quote retweet. And if you go just retweet, it just retweets it. And Twitter sees it as part of the original thread. But once you go quote retweet, it allows you to put your own comments in there. Plus, you can drop in your hashtags afterwards and send it out. And then Twitter groups it as new content. So very important to go quote retweet and not just straight retweet. It helps us a lot more exposure.
Definitely. So as I said, Stavros knows a lot about marketing, right? So try to, or not try, just take his advice and then use it, right?
I've only been doing it since I was 17, not long.
Yes, so actually he's bringing a lot of experience, right? As I said before, and he knows a lot about algorithms or different stuff. I would never use
Just
Twitter till a couple of months ago.
100%. Just an interesting thing as well, because I used to study Google's algorithm and do SEO, search engine optimization, while I used to build websites through a company I had as well. And Google changes their algorithm 4 times a year on average, minimum. And Twitter is 3 times a year. Instagram is more than 6 times a year. Facebook also 6 times a year. They change the algorithm just because people get used to the loopholes, and then they have to avoid people getting an unfair advantage in terms of how they are able to find the loopholes. They change the algorithm on top, around on purpose. They do it for specific reasons. They want to make sure that everybody's got a so-called, fair chance, quote unquote. So I always look at the new trends and say, well, what's trending now? What's busy now? What is the like the shortcut, at the moment, shortcuts or the not the easy way out, but what is the most efficient way for us to get exposure? And I try and keep up with it as much as I can.
Sorry, just needed to mute this one. Yes, but definitely they're changing these things up, as Stavros said, because people are getting used to the loopholes, right? And they try to avoid this stuff. So, of course, we also need to adjust our way of shilling as well. All right. So this for today's AMA, right? Because I have the upcoming meeting now, already 2 minutes late. Thank you all for participating. It was a nice session. And we will hear each other again tomorrow with some details on the fund as well, right? So it's quite interesting. Quite interesting it will be tomorrow. All right, people. So from my side, thank you all. Bye-bye, Stavros. Thank you for bringing also this additional value of the marketing side. And
You're welcome.
yeah, and otherwise, bye-bye. Have a nice day, or whatever time zone you're sitting in, right? Because this always confuses me. Just enjoy your rest of the day, right?
Rest. You must say, like, you get morning and you get afternoon and evening. You must just call it min-evening. Enjoy your min-evening because it covers all 3.
Would make it easier, right? All right.
100%.
So
Thanks,
then
Paul.
again,
Appreciate it.
yes, thank you all, and we will hear each other again, right? Bye bye.
Bye-bye.